Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. What's going on, everyone? Hello. What's going on, wherever you are? Hello. How's everyone doing today? Welcome, welcome. Rumors are swirling that democratic socialism is on the rise across the board, across the country. In all the surveys that they've conducted, they're showing that democratic socialism is on the rise. People are agreeing with the principles and the policies of democratic socialism like never before, right? As much as the media tries to attack and make democratic socialism look bad, more and more Americans are becoming frustrated with the economic system and the lack of respect for workers, for working people, the lack of respect for those that work very hard to run the system, to make sure that the factories are run, the daycare, the school, the buildings, uh, you know, the businesses, the workers that allow companies to become profitable. They are now getting very frustrated with the economic system where people feel like they cannot improve, they're not improving, their world is not getting better. And so the whole point is that people are being polled over and over, and a lot of people are agreeing that democratic socialism is the way to go, right? The popularity of it has increased, right?
Candidates from the far left, and look at this here. Among Democrats, this is that Fox poll, a majority have a favorable view of socialism. Step outside the Democratic Party, it's a totally different world. Look at independence, socialism, deeply unpopular there. So is that a vulnerability for Democrats that would keep them from capitalizing?
Among Democrats,
On Trump's
52%
obvious weaknesses
Democrats.
here. Look more specifically at the two chambers here. Senate side, if you're a
So,
Democrat, this is the particularly tough one. They need a net gain of 4 seats to get control of the Senate. Take a look at the map here. How would they get 4? Four is their target number. There's first thing, they can't lose ground. Georgia, New Hampshire, Michigan, Democratic seats, big primary coming up in Michigan in a few weeks there. They could have general election implications. Democrats have to win those just to not lose ground. Then the two Republican seats they think they have the best shot at would be Susan Collins in Maine. Democrats have a new candidate there now. And in North Carolina, where Democrats have nominated the former governor season, socialists winning Democratic primaries, candidates from the far left. And look at this here. Among Democrats, this is that Fox poll, a majority
they insist
have
that
a favorable view of socialism. Step outside the Democratic
Republicans
Party, it's a totally
don't
different
like
world. Look at
democratic
independence,
socialism,
socialism,
right? That Republicans don't like socialism, that Republicans, but are you arguing in favor of the Republicans? We already learned that Trump supporters will never support a Democrat for the most part. You can move moderate, you can move to their side, but the Democrats moving to the center, becoming more Republican, did not work for Kamala Harris. It did not work for any candidate, right? Moving to the center, moving moderate is not something that can work. That worked for Bill Clinton 20 years ago. The world has changed. The people have changed. The boomers are, mm, there's more boomers, but the boomers are dying, and the generations have changed. A lot of the young people have a different mentality, a different point of view. The liberals are no longer the thinking the same way that they used to think, right? Most people are not thinking the way they used to think. That's just a reality. And why can't we accept the reality that becoming moderate costs Kamala Harris the presidential election, right? That strategy did not work. Um, campaigning with um, campaigning with Liz Cheney, campaigning with all these Republicans did not help her at all. So instead of rallying against Democratic Socialism, embrace the left of the party. Embrace them, welcome them in, don't push them to the side, adjust your platform to be more populist, to address the working class's needs, the working people's needs, address their needs, like Bernie Sanders said, and advise Joe Biden on a monthly basis. If you want to win, you got to run on a populist message. Donald Trump ran on a populist message. He hasn't delivered lower prices, lower grocery prices, no new wars. Oil is skyrocketing. Um, he pretty much broke all his promises, but he ran as a populist. That's what he ran on. And now you're telling and advising Democrats that they should not run on a populist message. That's your advice to them. Don't run on a populist message because populism is not going to help us. Why? Why? Why do you push this again and again and again? You push this narrative that is not even true. And then we have people that they want a platform. From CBS News Radio, Sid Rosenberg has always hated Zoran, had to apologize to Zoran for all the things he said. Now he's back at it. He's back at it. This is the people you want to listen to? These are the people you want to listen to. Look at
Mayor
this guy.
Mamdani
Listen
has
to
no
this guy.
use for you. He is a horrible person and maybe has perpetrated the worst American and Jewish hate in the history of this country. Those two
Not
people stand the
true.
other day in the West Side of New York City. That
Not
blood is on
true.
his
Not true. He
hands.
just
That
berserk.
blood is on your hands, Mayor Mamdani. We got to find a way to
Always.
get this guy out of here. Maybe Dr. Naomi Wolf is right. Maybe that election wasn't what it looked like on paper. Maybe he really didn't win. But either way, this guy is the
See
worst thing
this? Nonsense. They got these crazy people,
to happen to
white
New York politics,
supremacists.
maybe in the history of our state. He's a lowlife.
I mean, I think you may be a bit over your skis in calling him, labeling him a terrorist, and you're probably going to
Why?
get flagged for
But
that.
why?
And he doesn't care. He apologizes and then he continues in the same behavior that he was doing before. This is the behavior that he had to apologize for, and now he's back on doing the same exact thing that he was doing before. Si- You know, it's ridiculous. Right? And so who did they bring on the air to represent the Democratic Party and to represent the views of the Democratic Party? Guess who they bring on the air? John Fetterman.
you know,
Who do they bring on the air?
amongst
John
our
Fetterman.
legislators. What do you backtrack on that quite a bit? I want to get to this though. You've been both supportive of the strikes on Iran as well as voter ID. These are both hot button topics, Senator. You know, amongst our legislators, what do you hear from your constituents on both of those points?
I mean, you know, I go everywhere. I do a lot of the shopping, and people approach me, and it's almost uniformly very positive or appreciate that thing. And I can't really fully understand why. I mean, I've seen polling where why I'm so popular with Republicans. I don't really understand that, but I'm always going to treat both sides with respect, and we can agree on what we can, or we're going to disagree in a respectful way. And I'm not going to call people like you're a Nazi or you're a fascist or you're trying to destroy our democracy and use those things. So I call out what's unacceptable for me, whatever that party is. But I do think it's a responsibility for members of the party to police their own ranks.
Well, you
well, I got the whole thing, all you get is great constituent services, and you're not like a thousand cutouts. There you go. Then it would be a problem. I don't think so. What this about?
So that is the reality. We bring out of all people, we want Fetterman to speak for the Democratic Party, the guy that's polling at the lowest numbers of all Democratic lawmakers, that is thinking about leaving the Democratic Party, is really a closet Republican, supports most of the Republican agenda, and you want to bring him on. A guy that won't get reelected in Pennsylvania, that is just sold himself out to the devil, takes so much money from Israel and AIPAC, and you want him to be the voice of the Democratic Party. This is the person that you want to be in charge, to run the show, and he doesn't even have all his faculties there. And so I don't understand why this is the person they bring on. Let me play the video of let me play the video of make sure you support the GoFundMe, right? Did I post it? I don't think I posted it. Well, let's watch Van Jones. Instead of embracing the differences,
Tired
the Democratic Party,
of a set of
this is what
people
they're
on the
doing.
very far left in the Democratic Party, my party, telling us
He's sick and tired of the Democratic
that in
Party.
order for us to be progressives, we now have to believe ideas and support ideas that are completely nuts.
You got a set of defunding, decriminalizing, open borders. We have run that play and gotten our butts kicked. We don't need to do it a second.
So run a moderate, run a Republican stances.
Time
That
to see if
works.
it turns out, if the movie turns out any different.
Prominent Democrat voices pushing back on the growing influence of the Democratic Socialist candidates they say are ultimately going to hurt the Democrat Party. So let's talk about it with the national co-chair of the Democratic Socialists of America, Megan Romer. Megan, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Shannon.
Okay, so there's this growing
Always gotta start it this way, right? Always gotta start it this way, right? This is where they start everything, right? They gotta make it so much of a conspiracy, right?
conversation about whether you can exist within the party, whether you want to upend it for your own purposes, a totally different platform. The Daily Economy quotes you saying this at a DSA convention last year. We will win by making conditions so intolerable for the ruling class that they would rather give in to our demands than continue to live with the disturbance we cause.
That's bizarre the way they frame it, right? They always want to paint it as a
until we are
cleaner.
able to fully seize power ourselves. Is that aimed at the Democrat Party?
This is aimed at who? At
It's
the
aimed from the working class to the ruling class. So the two
exactly.
party duopoly, the two corporate parties, it is aimed at both of them, and it comes from the working class.
So should Van Jones and Rahm Emanuel and James Carville and all of the establishment Democrats be worried about DSA plans from within their tent?
All the elites, by the way, these are all elites, all people with money. They don't really speak for the party.
The
That's just a reality. We got to look
establishment
at.
Democrats should be worried about the voters and about what the voters think and about what the constituency thinks. And right now they have not been delivering, and our candidates are and have been, and it's resonating with voters.
So Jamie Harrison, who was the DNC chair, after you guys had such a big night in New York City and knocking off some of those incumbents and having success with your candidates in the congressional primaries, he said, if you hate the Democratic Party, then don't run for our nomination. Don't use our resources. Don't rely on our volunteers. Don't use our infrastructure. Focus on building the party you actually support. Other Democrats out there saying this is a separate party, the DSA. You don't belong within the party. How do you respond to his statements there?
Yeah, I mean, the two parties have over years and decades created a system where ballot line access is extremely difficult for third parties. I also have been told a lot of times by Democrats, don't vote third party, it's wasting your vote. So we run on the Democratic.
So I mean, it's the Democratic Party is an empty vessel. They don't have volunteers. They don't have their own resources. So I don't understand what they're talking about. That not to run in their line or not to do things within the scope of their system, right? They don't own it. It belongs to the voters, the people that vote on the line, not the party establishment, but those people that vote on.
Ballot line where it makes sense. We run independents sometimes where that is a viable possibility, but it's a ballot line. And what matters is what the voters think. And the voters are overwhelmingly choosing our candidates.
They certainly did in New York and in other places, Colorado and others. It's not just a big city phenomenon or just a blue coastal phenomenon. Sure. Okay, so we're going to put up on the screen a few of the things that are part of your platform. And I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on the
always exaggerating.
Abolish the Senate.
True.
Okay, replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Why not? Why not, right? Why not? That's the whole point, is that
abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S.
At first, I didn't like the answer, but I'm like, why hide? Why?
As a long-term plan, yeah.
Why not speak the truth? Why not speak what it is, the way it is? Lay it bare. Let them see that the system is messed up.
Defund the Pentagon.
These are things that are just part of the system, right?
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
There's a long-term program to change the way things work. It hasn't been working for working people.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so then let's go back through some of those then. Abolish the Senate. There are people who are in the Senate now who are very supportive of DSA.
What's so bad about
seats?
What she's saying? The system is not working for working people. So obviously working people
The Senate is an anachronistic institution. It comes from the British House of Lords. It is made to protect power for, the Senate was part of
It doesn't represent people.
the system that was made
like
to
the
make
way it
sure
should.
that the people didn't have too much of a say. So we want to expand Congress significantly, but make it
more representative of the working people. So people have a voice for their lives, right?
a unicameral legislature.
Okay, and without the presidency and Supreme Court, so abolish ICE, would there be any enforcement of immigration
Change is
laws, or
scary.
with abolishing the border,
This change scary for people.
we're not enforcing immigration laws, they go away?
If things are not working.
So again, this is part of this longer term plan, and part of it
But if you can get there.
If we can get to the place where the U.S. is not destabilizing countries in order to mine them for resources, there will be significantly less migration.
Yeah, so the United States
What do you
is
say
the
to
cause
those,
of
though,
immigration.
that would potentially destabilize the U.S.? Because there's only so much the
Right.
economy can bear, and when you have a flood of people coming in, it might not work out economically, according to a lot of analyses, if you just open up the borders and there's no enforcement at all.
Well, we're not
Exactly.
saying open the borders tomorrow. We're saying rebuild
Oh.
an
But
economy
eventually.
and a society that works for everyone. And
Exactly.
the open borders is part of a longer term international plan that involves us stopping destabilizing
Yeah, we've been destabilizing countries for such a long time.
countries.
Causing
Most people
serious
who are coming to
problems.
this country are coming as economic refugees. And
We've just been destabilizing them.
we destabilized their country. We did that.
Well, a lot of,
What's going on, everyone? What's going on, everyone? What's going on? So that's just a reality that we need a system of change. We don't need the system to stay the same.
if you look at data, the Center for Immigration Studies says right now, the households here in the U.S. that are headed up by people who are here illegally, nearly 61% of them are on some type of government or welfare program here in the U.S. Can we afford to do that? I mean, at some point, you run out of resources.
Well, right now, we make it very difficult for people to participate in society in such a way that they can avoid using services. So we want people to be able to work and live and go to school and actually participate, which means contributing to society and also getting what they need from society. It's a collective choice we can all make.
Yeah. So if we talk about abolishing prisons, then does that make society better? I mean, is there anybody that should be incarcerated? I mean, rapists, child predators, murderers?
Increase pain and suffering.
Yeah, so the long-term plan, when we think about most people who are in prison, they are mostly
shouldn't we
in prison for crimes of poverty? So when
shouldn't we
no, I'm talking about. I'm talking about the really
I hear you. So when we get rid of this need for crimes of poverty to exist, when we get rid of that destabilizing force that creates so many people who are living in desperate
people are living in desperate situations. That's just a reality.
Crazy ideas aren't where the energy is. The energy isn't around like we shouldn't have prisons or borders. The energy is around a belief that they're economic populism. And when you call it socialism, I think it's a misnomer.
Oh, he's cooking right
Like
here.
in the same way that if you call Social Security socialism, that's kind
And he's
of a
cooking big
misnomer.
time.
It's about strengthening a safety net for a country.
But he's right.
That has suffered too long, overvaluing capital.
Overvalue capitalism over labor, over working people. Overworking people are not valued in this country.
Capital and money, and undervaluing labor and work.
Exactly.
That's all That's it. And it's
So people
so
saying
I don't
that
get the whole hullabaloo. Suddenly the Democrats are these Democratic Socialists, they're crazy.
they're not crazy.
And you're like, well,
They should be
but
embraced by the party,
generally they're crazy.
right? Everyone should be
Ideas
embraced by the
aren't
party.
where the energy is. The energy isn't around like
They should be
we
embraced
shouldn't
by the
have
party.
prisons or borders. The energy is around a belief that they're economic populism. And when you call it socialism, I think it's a misnomer. Like in the
It's like you're just exaggerating, using extremist positions to
same way
say
that if you
that
call Social
you're
Security
realistic to
socialism,
people,
that's kind of a misnomer.
right? You're just finding a
It's
way
about strengthening a safety
to
net for a
disregard
country that has suffered too
to
long,
disregard.
overvalue.
Yeah, so we disregard this point of view because we think that it's extreme, but it's not extreme to allow workers to participate in the system that has been built to destroy their ability to become independent, their ability to build homes, to live life. And while there's billionaires with multiple homes, multiple cars, multiple resources that they don't even use, while other people could use those resources to feed themselves and be able to survive with their families. It's about fairness, it's about a balance in our society, a balance that's not there right now as we speak, that there should be there, right? That's all people are fighting for is for there to be balance, a possibility of possibly even being in the middle class that you're comfortable and but you're not in almost in starvation mode. And you're not living paycheck to paycheck, but that you actually can survive, have a home or a roof over your head, have a meal every day, be able to be taken care of. That if you get sick, you'll still be able to survive and your family still be able to survive and not be in the streets. That's all people are asking for. They're not asking to be rich. They're just asking for a fair shake, a fair chance to survive off of their labor, right? That's all. People are not asking for helicopters and yachts and to be super rich. They just want to be able to have good, productive, working lives, right? Balanced out lives where they can spend time with their families, spend time with their children, and not have to sacrifice their families in order to survive, right? To have a long and fruitful life, long and fruitful and safe life. And if they get sick or somebody in their family gets sick, they don't have to worry about being put out into the streets. That's all people are asking for. They're not asking for too much. Thank you for joining me. We'll speak tomorrow, okay? Have a good day, everyone. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for watching my live. I appreciate it. I'm Celso Garcia. I introduce myself with all the happiness and hype of speaking to you, the people. Support the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Goodbye.